You've answered the same question 6 times this month. Same explanation, same example, same follow-up message. And here's the uncomfortable part. You may be doing unpaid product research while leaving the product unbuilt. I'm Ace. Good to have you here. Let me ask you something. What if that repeated answer could become a small tool that saves you time, helps people decide, and keeps working after the conversation ends? My argument today is simple. Before you build a giant course, a content machine, or a full software product, turn one repeated decision into a useful little interaction. It's faster to test, easier to improve, and often more valuable than adding another page of information that leaves people wondering what to do next. This could be a calculator, a checklist, a scorecard, or a recommendation flow. The technology can be simple. A spreadsheet may be enough. A form may be enough. A small vibe-coded interface may be enough. The important asset is not the interface. It's the reasoning underneath it, the questions, the trade-offs, the explanations, and the feedback you gather from real people. I've seen this happen with website advice. Someone asks which pages they should create first. You explain how to weigh business goals, audience needs, existing authority, search demand, and available time. Then the same reasoning disappears into a call recap or an email. The decision tool gives that thinking somewhere useful to live. And that matters because a focus tool can build trust, attract the right visitors, support an email list, or introduce a relevant service without shouting for attention. Start with the decision. Not the app, not the color scheme, not the clever name. Ask, what do people keep asking me to help them decide? Look through your inbox, support messages, sales conversations, comments, and notes from client work. You're looking for a question that returns in different words but points to the same uncertainty. Maybe it's, which content should I create first? Maybe it's, is this process ready for automation? Or, which sustainable home project makes sense for my time, space, and budget? Different subjects, same structure. Someone has a goal, limited resources, several possible paths, and not enough confidence to choose one. Now list the inputs that actually change the answer. That's the filter. For a content prioritizer, the inputs might be business goal, first-hand expertise, audience need, existing pages, search opportunity, and production time. For an automation scorecard, think frequency, repetition, process clarity, and risk. For a home project planner, consider space, local conditions, budget, maintenance, and the result the person wants. You're looking for variables, not trivia. If an answer won't change what someone should do, leave that question out. Every extra field creates friction. Every irrelevant field makes the tool feel like paperwork. A smaller set of meaningful inputs is usually better than a long questionnaire pretending to be intelligent. Then define the possible outputs, not just a number. A useful result might say, prioritize a service page before publishing 5 more articles, or document the process and automate the handoff and keep final approval manual, or start with a smaller garden project you can maintain consistently. The result should guide a next move, without pretending to know everything about a person's situation. Also ask what happens if the recommendation is wrong. That question determines how cautious the tool needs to be. A weak content priority may cost someone a few weeks. An automated error could affect customers or operations. A project that requires more maintenance than expected may simply be abandoned. The higher the cost, the more clearly you should show assumptions, uncertainty, and the point where human judgment takes over. Next, shrink the interaction. Builders often overcomplicate this part. They hear a tool and immediately imagine a dashboard with accounts, profiles, integrations, and 12 screens. Don't start there. Ask what is the minimum effort a user can make and still receive a meaningful improvement in clarity. The format should match the decision. Use a checklist when someone needs to verify readiness. Use a scorecard when several factors combine into a rough range. Use a calculator when the relationship between inputs and outputs is reasonably clear. Use a recommendation flow when a few answers should lead to one of several practical paths. Take the content example. A small business owner has 10 possible article ideas and 3 hours a week. The tool asks, does this support an actual offer? Does the owner have useful first-hand knowledge? Is there evidence of audience interest? Can the page answer a focused question well? And does it connect to a page the business wants people to reach? The output could be simple. Publish soon, investigate further, or postpone. Then explain why. Publish soon because this supports an existing offer and matches your expertise. That sentence is doing important work. People trust a recommendation more when they can inspect the reasoning instead of receiving a mysterious score. For automation, 4 signals are enough for a first pass. Frequency, repetition, clarity, and risk. High frequency helps. A repeatable process helps. A clear review point helps. High risk slows you down. Maybe you automate the handoff, not the final approval. That's a better result than telling everyone to automate everything. And for sustainable projects, the impressive option is not always the useful option. A planner might recommend a small compost system, a perennial bed, water collection, or an energy-saving improvement based on space, budget, time, and maintenance. The best result may be the project someone can actually finish and keep using. Here's the practical shortcut. Build the first version manually. Put the logic in a spreadsheet. Put the questions in a form. Send the result yourself if necessary. That is not a failure to automate. It's a test. Do people recognize the decision? Do the questions make sense? Does the result help them move forward? Prove that before you polish the machinery. Then give the result somewhere honest to go. First, show what the answers suggest. Explain the assumptions, say what the tool cannot know, then offer an optional next step that genuinely follows from the result. That might be a guide, a template, a related product, or a consultation. The offer should make sense because of the user's situation, not because the tool was secretly designed to corner them. Be equally clear about data. Tell people what you collect and why. If an email is optional, keep it optional. If you ask for one, explain what they'll receive. A helpful tool should not demand more information than the experience reasonably requires. And when the decision touches health, legal matters, finances, safety, or other serious consequences, the boundaries need to be stronger. Say clearly that the result is educational guidance, not a substitute for qualified judgment. Sometimes the right output is not a recommendation. It's gather more information or talk with a qualified professional before acting. Confidence is not accuracy. You can build a testable version in 1 week. Day 1. Collect repeated questions and choose one decision. Day 2. Write the inputs, outputs, assumptions, and risks. Day 3. Create the spreadsheet or form. Day 4. Test it against examples from your past work. Day 5. Watch 3 to 5 people use it. Day 6. Remove confusing questions and rewrite unclear results. Day 7. Publish it beside the most relevant page on your site. I can speed up that workflow. Ask it to group recurring questions, suggest input categories, draft explanations, generate test cases, or create a basic interface from your decision flow. Vibe coding can help you move from a rough description to something people can click through, but don't give an AI a vague prompt and accept the first result as your product. Tell it who the tool serves, what decision it supports, which inputs matter, what outputs are possible, and when it must refuse to make a recommendation. Test ordinary cases, unusual cases, and incomplete cases. If one missing detail causes the result to swing wildly, you found a design problem. Let's connect the dots. AI helps you move faster from idea to draft. It can write interface code and compare scoring models, but it cannot decide whether the problem is worth solving, whether the inputs are fair, or whether the recommendation reflects reality. Speed helps you test. It does not make a weak idea valuable. Once the tool is live, users start improving it for you. Watch for abandoned steps, incomplete answers, repeated support questions, and results people challenge. That may mean the wording is unclear, an important input is missing, or your categories don't match how people actually think. Improve one small piece at a time. Add a question, remove a question, rewrite a result, or show a better example. That's the flywheel. A repeated question gives you the starting point. Mapping the decision turns experience into logic. A small interaction makes that logic accessible. The result helps someone act. Feedback makes the tool better. Then the improved asset attracts more people facing the same decision. You don't need a huge audience first. You don't need to predict the next platform trend. You don't need a complicated subscription product on day one. You need one recurring problem, a careful way to reduce uncertainty, and enough humility to improve the result when real users show you what you missed. So this week, find one question you've answered at least 3 times. List the 3 or 6 inputs that change the answer. Choose 3 possible outputs. Then build the roughest version you can test. A spreadsheet is enough. Form is enough. Don't try to impress people with technology. Prove that the interaction helps someone move forward. What useful decision is still trapped inside your conversations? That may be your next digital product, your next website asset, or simply the clearest way to make your existing expertise easier to access. Start with the decision, make the reasoning visible, and let real use improve the system. If this gave you a practical way to think about digital products, website strategy, AI, or solopreneur systems, subscribe to the show. I'll keep breaking down useful ways to build income, independence, authority, and leverage without making the process more complicated than it needs to be. Well, that's enough to think about for today. Appreciate you spending a few minutes with me. I'll catch you in the next one.